Hey everybody, come in real quick. I don't have very long, but I do want to give you something to go back and watch via a replay. Let's do this real quick. Come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. I gave you a morning periscope before I worked out, and now I have worked out, and so I just want to share something with you really quickly, so please come in. I've got to go and get me some lunch. Thank you for the feedback. Those of you that were on my periscope this morning, thank you so very much. Getting some tremendous feedback. Do me a favor, help me spread the word about 7 days of war. We're going to be doing war periscopes for 7 days, teaching you how to pray, praying with you, praying about your stuff for 7 days. Okay, today was day 1. We dealt with the spirit of heaviness, and if you're getting blessed, let me know. If you're getting blessed, let me know. Okay, real quick, I want to talk to you about something. I was at the gym today, had a great workout. I mean, wow. And I started to think about how unique this time in America really is, and it's an extremely unique time in America. It's very uncommon. It's a very interesting time with everything going on. And one of the things that I realize is that one of the things that's most jarring is that God is showing a side of himself that America has rejected. In 2 Kings 2:14, what you find is that Elijah is gone. Elisha has inherited the prophetic mantle, and he has become the primary prophetic voice that's leading the nation, that's directing the nation. Noah, it's good to see you, man. And he is the primary voice that has the access to the counsel of God, the insight of God, the predictions of God, the edicts of God, the doings of God, the plans of God, the pronouncements of God, etc. And but he uses the mantle, and he says something very unique that I'm going to give you for about 5 minutes. And he asks, where is the God of Elijah? Where is the God of Elijah? I want you to know that this is a moment in America where she is going to meet the God of the prophets. And people have a really bad habit of doing their best to fight the parts of God that offend them. And I want to let you know that, God is too multifaceted to be confined to one particular experience. Elijah didn't know a pastoral God. And what happens is in America, because we are a democratic nation, our history has been determined by presidents. When it comes to the kingship of Jesus, we reject it because we're committed to presidency. But God is the type of God that reveals himself to you based upon what he wants you to do. He revealed himself to Moses in a certain way. He revealed himself to David in a certain way. He revealed himself to Paul in a certain way. So when you are a ministry gift and you are, an apostle, a prophet, an evangelist, a pastor, or a teacher, there is a certain aspect of the personality of God that grooms you. It determines your personality. It determines your hatred. It determines your indignation. It determines your passions. It determines your love. And the only side of God, very frankly, that America is comfortable with is the pastoral and teaching sides of God. We have built the whole of our belief and the whole of our experience in Christendom on the pastoral side of God, or the shepherding side of God, and the teaching side of God. So then when there are other ministry gifts that were not groomed by Jesus the pastor and was not groomed by Jesus the teacher, they get extremely offended because it was the God of the prophets that groomed Elijah. It was the God of the prophets that groomed Moses. Now, you can't have a kingdom with only pastoral and teaching personalities and pastoral and teaching attitudes, because all you got is maintenance and information. Maintenance and information. You have locked revelation. You have locked confrontation. You have locked rebuke. You have locked affirmation. You have locked instruction. You have also locked the voice of the future. If the only side, and this is why America is in the war that she is in, is because she hates the voice of the future. So what she does is she gravitates towards the voice of the now, pastors and teachers. So she wants to do nothing to do with whoever is calling forth, pronouncing, and protecting and defending the future. But I want you to hear this. America is getting ready to see the God of the prophets. She has known the evangelistic God. She has known the side of God that was interested in teaching. She's about to see the God of the prophets. And Jesus, the part of Jesus Christ, Jesus manifested all 5 ministries. What we know as the fivefold are different parts of the ministry priorities and the ministry personalities of Jesus deposited and broken into 5, right? He was identified as an apostle. He was identified as a prophet, as a teacher, as a pastor, all of them, right? But there was a side of God and a side of Jesus Christ, the prophetic ministry of Jesus, that was probably the most fought. They liked his teaching wasn't bothering nobody, but that prophetic side of him that confronted, him that dealt with, him that exposed, him that was direct, him that announced things. America right now would have a hard time, and some of you are going to have a hard time with this. America would have a hard time if you told them God kills people. I'm going to pull right out of that. They act like that after the book of Acts and after Paul wrote the book of Romans, that God stopped judging stuff. He just changed his mind. And when you act that way and when you say stuff like that, what you imply is that the times and the tides of our culture and our society made God improve his strategy and improve his temperament and improve his personality. But if you say that, then you have to imply that God can be improved. And how no, my phone just froze. And but I wanted to release that to you. If God did something in the Bible, he didn't stop doing it because we created the 51 state union. America has got to stop, and her church and her preachers have got to stop acting like they have got monopoly and they've got a copyright on the personality of God and they get to dictate his doings. One of the things that you've got to realize about the side of Jesus that is prophetic is that it is very unorthodox. It is very unorthodox. And when we made him ceremonial, and when we made him historic, and when we made him ancient, what did we do? We started to fight and we started to reject the things that God would do because they seemed inhumane and they seemed abrupt and they seemed abrasive. You know, when people hear prophetic personalities preach and they hear that brunt and that confrontation and that direct, it's because they were groomed by indirect ministers and ministries. People that didn't make you make a decision. People that didn't confront your decision making or your behavior. They just dealt with those that cultivated you. So when you're dealing with the God of the prophets, the God of Elijah, you are dealing with a very direct God. He has a different tone. He has a different projective or objective. He has a different agenda, certain things that he wants to achieve and accomplish, and he doesn't allow people to get in the way. You're dealing with a different attitude. You're dealing with a different spectrum. So I want you to resolve right now before November gets here that just because something doesn't agree to your personality don't mean it ain't God. And just because something doesn't fit within the theology of your personal background don't mean it's not God. You've got to be cautious of ascribing the acts of God to Satan because you don't like it or because you don't understand. And what a lot of people do is say, the God I serve would never do that, would never do that. But I'm here to tell you, God employed certain very unorthodox things, and he dealt with people one-on-one, very direct, if he was going to spare the quality of life of the whole people. So please know that God ain't your pastor. And please know that God is not your president. And please know that God is not interested in what you think about his morality. You've got to know that. There is a side of God that America has been taught to reject, and your churches have helped. But there is a side of God that is very direct, that doesn't overlook, and that is very consistent and very aggressive about doing what he wants to do. So I'm not going to go too far into that, but I want you to know America is about to see the God of the prophets. And we have seen the other side. And here's another thing. You got to be cautious about rejecting ministry gifts that have been groomed by the God of the prophets. Just because it doesn't, oh Shay, I love you as well. Just because they don't, and what they do is, well, where is the mercy? Where is the compassion? Here's the deal. There is mercy and there is justice and there is compassion in everything God does, even if it's accountability. So just because something sounds harsh and you don't like the tone, don't mean it ain't God. Just because something is direct and bold and abrasive and a plow, don't mean it's not God. You just don't like it. And you got to face the fact that your churches and pastors have taught you to hate the sides of God that make you feel bad. God would never do that. Why? Because you would never do it. You and God don't have the same personality. And heaven's morality is different from the world's morality and your society's morality. And these prophetic vessels that the Lord is raising up, we are going to be prophets to entire cultures, which is going to mandate that we be a bit more direct than what you have been used to. All I wanted to say, get ready to see the God of the prophets. The same dude that appeared to Moses and the same God that appeared to Elijah. It's going to be a little different from what a lot of your preachers are projecting and representing. The Lord bless you, keep you, cause his face to shine upon you. I bid you peace. I'll see you this afternoon. Bye-bye.